gentlemen, it's about to go down.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome your hosts, RGX, RateWrestle, and Frozzy, representing Honor Club, and you're listening to the HCW Podcast.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the HCW Podcast. I am your host as always, RGX, joined this week by RateWrestle, and DP has returned again this week. Sadly, Prozzy is on assignment, but will be back for Tuesday's show. But how are you doing, Rate?
Yeah, everything's going well. 4 days of hell at work, but I've got a day off tomorrow, which is going to be wonderful. And we're just going to have a good time on this podcast tonight.
Good stuff. What about yourself, DP? Welcome back.
Thank you. I might as well be a regular around these parts nowadays. But yeah, not too bad. Like Ray, I've had a bad working week, but happy to be here and happy to go over the wrestling.
Yeah. The fun of working full time and putting together this show is creating a 70-hour week, but we don't complain. What I want to do though is just thank everyone for the support on our latest video, the try not to wince or look away challenge. It's been one of our best performing videos so far, so thank you very much for that. And I appreciate the love that you're sending towards BDWG's channel as well. He's already reached out to thank us on Twitter, so thank you for that. And there will be more of those videos coming soon with slicker editing as I get better at it, so you have that to look forward to as well. So we'll get things kicked off right away with the Smackdown review.
Excellent. Let's get this on the road. So Smackdown June 24th. So we kicked off with Drew in the ring. He is indicating that he's going to be Mr. Money in the Bank. He's already indicated he wants to cash in at SummerSlam. So, shoot your shot. This
Not
was
Clash.
then followed by... not Clash, yeah. This was followed by Sheamus coming down. The one note I writ here straight away was Mccaggis. So, that's what he's going to be called from now on, McIntyre. Obviously, he hinted he's going to be Money in the Bank winner as well. Then Heyman came down after that, if I believe, and basically they indicated that Reigns is going to beat Lesnar. And then Pearce was in tow, and what happened was Heyman somehow got Adam Pearce to change the ruling that he decided that McIntyre and Sheamus were going to be in the Money in the Bank, and said that isn't correct. But they're going to have to qualify in a tag team match later on the night against the good old Usos. I did enjoy that. It's kind of leading up the kind of good old bit of rivalries work out well as a tag team kind of thing.
But Ray, can they coexist?
We'll find out later in the review. That was wonderful. That was a great segue. So this was followed by a good old Sammy segment. He's going to beat Shinsuke and qualify for the Money in the Bank. He's going to protect Roman by doing this. So good on good old Sami Zayn.
Such a noble cause.
He is a good man. The honorary use.
Very good.
So yeah, we kicked off into Zane versus Nakamura. Which, if I remember, I rated it just above average at 2 3/4. Shinsuke was in control for a lot of the match. You had the typical count out near fall. A few high kicks. He missed the finish roll up by Sami Zayn, which was a bit odd on that. Shinsuke was in control of that, hit a running knee, and then the Kinshasa outside. But then as he was trying to get Zayn in the ring, he took too long to get in the ring, and then Zayn hit the Louver kick to pick up the win. So Zayn is going to be Mr. Money in the Bank. They're going to continue the great old storyline with Zayn.
I hope so.
Yeah, I kind of hope he wins, in all honesty.
Yeah, it'll be a good thing. Because what they should do is they should hint at it continuously that he's going to cash in, but he doesn't because he wheels us out.
See, anyone that has a 5-star match at WrestleMania should get the Money in the Bank briefcase, in my opinion.
Anyway, it's moving on. This was followed by Dancing Shanky. And I think it was the New Day was in the ring, and it just started. I just didn't care. My exact words were, "The hell is this?"
So I'll do my little bit. So for a lot of the segments on SmackDown, I summed it up in one line. Well, one line for this was a dancing shanky sounds like some kind of euthanism.
That's what I'm going to need if we carry on watching this.
Dancing shanky. Think about it.
Ah, God.
To me, it's
But yeah.
like some sort of kebab.
I haven't eaten yet. Don't say stuff like that. But yeah, and then this was followed by like Mahal getting really annoyed. So then Shanky got really annoyed at Mahal and pushed him. So the rivalry. This is like Corbin and Madcap Moss. We're raring to see this. And then this was followed by the Evil Vikings. The Evil Vikings, and they just smashed the hell out of everyone that was in the ring.
Black eye makeup, they're heels.
The only way I can take away from that, because black eye makeup, they are heels, but like Vikings kind of like they do wear black eye, so I can see it, but they definitely were just going down the route of black eye makeup heels. Yeah. But I think they stumbled upon that Vikings did wear black makeup, so it kind of,
In fairness, this is the closest they've been to the original War Raiders since they joined WWE.
Yeah, like War Machine was incredible on the Indies, and then they've absolutely slapped them in NXT. But yeah, this was followed by a Pierce and Sonya segment out back. So Sonya's disappeared out of nowhere after a few weeks off and not appearing. She was basically taking the misk out of Adam Pierce. Sonya's not being booked. She was getting annoyed by that. So this led to Sonya's going to be having it up in a handicap match randomly.
Do you have any idea she was on SmackDown? I didn't. Was even? And I used the Wayback Machine to check the WWE roster page for the week before. She was still listed as Raw. The WWE website.
I think she was having random matches on SmackDown, if I remember. I can't remember if the qualifier. There might have been Raw. I'm so blending Raw and SmackDown.
Raw.
It's all one big blur at this point.
I checked the Wayback Machine and checked the WWE roster page for the week before SmackDown, listed as a roster superstar.
Yeah, so she's had a few matches on Raw, and then her last match on SmackDown was on 4th of March against Rousey. I think she's just there, pretty much. But yeah, so handicap match. So this was followed up straight away because Pierce went, and it starts now. So I don't know how Evans and Raquel knew this, but Sonya did. So Sonya versus Evans and Raquel. She was in tow with Shayna Baszler and Xia Li, which I'm actually slightly excited for that as a group.
Yeah, it's a shame to see Shayna has just hired muscle again, but when she's on TV.
Yeah. So Sonya Deville hit a running knee, which was a usual good move from her. You had the hot tag from Raquel, and then she did a bit, and then Lacey Evans hit the woman's right, and that was the end of the match. 1 1/4 stars that was a classic.
Yeah, and they had the muscle out there, and they didn't do it.
Yeah. And then it just followed in like a brawl, which ended up being a fail. So, the Street Profits are up next. I just wrote my exact line here is talking ass. That was my exact line.
I have STFU Profits in my notes, but I think that was for the tag match later.
I'm just genuinely, they talk absolute ass. And then it ends with, we want the smoke. That's their promos, if you want it in a nutshell.
It's not as bad as the Raw one, and I'll talk about the Raw one when it happens.
Oh, God. This was followed by Rowdy and Natalya. So, if you haven't watched SmackDown, that sounds really out of key, but Natalya was dressed as Rowdy Rousey. But yeah, this was very good.
The most entertained I've been by Natalya in years.
But she was full on trashing Rousey. She told her basically she'd retire and go home to her kids. Then Rousey came back, and Rousey actually came with a good one-liner for once, which was, I'm surprised not to see you with your rack out, which is fair enough. And yeah, she should dress less like Rousey, and then that was pretty much the whole of the segment. But yeah, it was fun. It was it's nice to see Element. It's definitely still my top lock.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
100%, but yeah.
Both women matches are my top locks. Carmella's not winning that title.
I think Belair's getting cashed in on the.
Yeah, but that won't affect my life, so that's good. Unless it's done during the match and I'm going to kill someone. So yeah, Drew versus Drew with Sheamus after this. I just read they love each other, really. That was my whole spiel for that. This was followed up by a match which I was looking forward to someone's opinion on, but they aren't here. So Gunther versus Ricochet. So the whole the match was a long squash match where Ricochet got absolutely battered. He got lariat and chopped, and then he ended up with a powerbomb.
I know DP disagrees with me here, but I really like Gunther's new music, at least compared to his other main roster ones.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to disagree with you there. Like, it's definitely better than the previous one he had, but it's not a touch on anything else he's had. Like, it just sounds to me like generic, sort of, I have no idea who this is, coming out until I see them.
It's one, like, I went back and listened to it a couple of times, it does grow on you. It's like Roman Reigns' theme, like new theme, the first time I heard it, I was like, what was that? But when I went back and listened to it again.
Yeah, Roman Reigns grew on me a lot.
Yeah, so Gunther's just doing the same. To me, it doesn't sound like a generic one, it sounds like a potential main eventer team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I mean, we'll see, absolutely. It's just, for me, it's no touch on Dvorak's Symphony.
No team he ever gets will be.
I brought that on vinyl. That's how much I liked the for the soundtrack to Water.
Just remember as well, WWE can't make any money off of classical music.
Yeah, because it's all free now, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I rated a 1 3/4. Like, it was fine, but it was a squash match.
Fuck taking that drop kick though.
Yeah. So this was followed by my favourite segment of the night, which was Heyman and Sammy. It was just hilarious. My exact wording here is he won't cash in on Reigns, happy Heyman, but he'll cash in on Lesnar, angry Heyman.
You can see him try to like claw the words back into his mouth.
This was followed by Shotzi versus the returning Tamina. So I got to see Tamina 2 times this week.
Apparently this was going to be Aaliyah, but she was injured in the warm-up in the rehearsal match on Thursday night, Friday morning. So they got Tamina to take a flight in, and as a thank you, she was on Raw as well.
Okay. But yeah, this match was just the essence of another squash match. Choked her in the rope. Tamina was just getting battered. She missed the rope shot and it ended with Shotzi's finish, which is called the Never Wake Up, I found. But yeah, 1 star.
Sadly, my note, because obviously I'm sticking with the theme of 1 line per bit, my note for that was, so that's Shotzi's finish. Which is quite sad in itself, because I really like Shotzi Blackheart.
Yeah. But at least she'll be in the Money in the Bank. I think she'll do well in that.
Well, maybe she was the one who she'll get a Shotzi.
Oh, God. You're bringing the Rousey back. No. Let's move on. Another segment I don't care about Max Dupree at all. They're prolonging
the proper accoutrement.
They're prolonging the absolute disappointment of who's going to turn up.
I mean, to be fair, how difficult is it to get 69.3 degree water? And really, not that hard.
But yeah, I just don't care. They're stalling the disappointment, basically. That's what we're here. And then this was followed. Yeah.
For that to be the model.
I don't know. I just don't care.
I'd heard it was Mason Mansour, but that was house show stuff. I don't know if they go down that route or not.
It's probably going to be them, because Garza and Thingy have appeared recently, because they disappeared off TV for a while, so I thought it might be them. But they appeared randomly on Raw.
You know, as I say, I don't really see it being Mansour, personally. Like, they got a Saudi show coming up, don't they?
Yeah, but they on our house show segment before SmackDown about the week before Dupree turned up on TV. He introduced Mansoor as one of his clients, but nothing has been mentioned of it since that one that one dark match.
Yeah, they're probably just testing it out and seeing what's going on.
Mm.
But yeah, followed by this was the main event, which was good old Mccaggis and James versus the Usos. This was obviously the best match of the night because it was not a squash match and it was the Usos and it was Drew and it was Sheamus. The Usos were in control for a lot of the matchup, surprisingly. But obviously, good old hot tag Drew needs to get his time in. There was a super kick and a splash from the Usos for a near fall. And then Angelo Dawkins stopped Sami Zayn from interfering, that was probably one of the better parts of the Street Profits in recent time. And then Drew hit a dive and ended up hitting the Claymore for the win. There was a bit in there as well where they had a bit of a brawl just before the break as well between Sheamus and Drew, but that he wasn't mentioned straight afterwards anyway. But yeah, right at 2 3/4 as well. It was a very good matchup. Well, decent matchup for SmackDown.
Yeah, for me though, it was practically unwatchable because of the Street Profits. I actually muted it at one point.
So you don't want the smoke?
Not the smoke.
I want the smoke!
After that, I wanted a smoke.
Yeah.
I wanted to die via smoke. There's some darkness for this podcast.
Was there anyone at any point who thought, the Usos might actually win this match?
No.
The Usos. And then they got told they weren't winning the match and they're like, oh yeah, this is wrestling.
Especially when they made it abundantly clear that the Usos weren't going to be getting into the Money in the Bank match if they won.
Mm-hmm.
Which, in kayfabe, essentially they were going to be cutting the field of men in the match from 7 to 5 if the Usos won. If they weren't replacing them.
Yeah, unless they randomly had a qualifier at some point. But a lot blew my mind. I don't think I mentioned it on my Raw review, so I'll mention it now, as in my notes. I didn't know Money in the Bank was on a Saturday.
Yeah, the stadium shows have been on a Saturday. I know they've moved it from the MGM Grand, or from the Allegiant to the MGM Grand, sorry, but it was originally meant to be a stadium show, and they do the stadium shows on Saturdays.
Yeah, because it's absolutely done me in, because I normally do my rate. I watch a video for a Sunday to do the rate review, but now I've got to watch them tomorrow just so I can get a video up. Because Money in the Bank we'll discuss on the actual podcast.
Do Great American Bash isn't until next week.
No, yeah, I'm just going to... I think I'm going to be watching the Triple Mania. Unless something better comes up until I say, but we'll find out. But that was the end of good old SmackDown. So, Rampage DP, take it away.
Okay, so this is going to be an interesting little thing. I've made notes today, so we'll see how it goes. So, Rampage, 24th of June. We started off with no entrances as usual with Andrade and Rey Fenix. On paper, should be a good match, but let's get into it. So we started with a quick exchange, springboards, leapfrogs, you name it, they probably did it. The crowd were, need to say, very into it, which is a good sign. Afterwards, we got a few more spots where Phoenix does his rope twist heel kick. I'm not sure what it's called. That thing where he goes in between the ropes. Later on, Andrade pays tribute to Eddie Guerrero by doing the hip thrusts in between suplexes. We got a comment I've written here from Jericho where he mentions Mascara Magica, which is Magic Mask, which is a wrestler in the 80s, I think it was.
Yeah, I think so.
A few more high spots here and there. Again, as you would expect. There is a spot actually where Andrade pushes Phoenix off the top rope corner onto the ground, and he lands feet first. And I'm always a bit wincy with those. So I'm thinking whatever ankle sort of sprains or snaps, etc. with those sort of spots.
Even
Um,
plantar fasciitis, if you land flat-footed, like basically tear the tendon between the ball of your foot and your heel,
mhm,
like badly damage that bit by landing flat-footed from height.
yeah. Like, I know if you do a roll through, you can be all right because you shift the momentum through. But yeah. Um. So later on, I've got other comments like Phoenix does a really impressive balanced drop kick from the top rope, from the top turnbuckle. So he
Mhm.
sort of does his springboard on top from the middle rope to the top rope, stops, as in like he's sort of controlling his own balance, and he just stays still for a second, and then hits the drop kick. Um, we have got a bit later on where Jericho then comments about sweat, very kind of randomly, in my opinion, which is like he's covered in sweat, he's drenched in sweat, and he's really into it. So
I did get the impression between this and Dynamite that they were like recording a really hot building because everyone looked dead sweaty.
mhm. Probably not helping that. It's probably like the fourth hour of recording that they've done at that time.
Under the lights all that time.
Hmm. There's also a fun bit where the fan in the front row who fist bumps Andrade after a weird little silence between the both of them. He's like, "Eh," and then he's like, fist bump. We got a part where it was painstakingly obvious that you weren't going to do it, but Jose, the assistant, passes a tablet to Andrade, and Andrade goes to use it, and he does this weird thing where he holds it in the air behind him and doesn't actually swing it, and then Aubrey, the referee, turns around and is like, "Hey, no, you can't do that," and then just grabs it off him.
Good old Aubrey.
That's her
um,
job sometimes.
Of course, she didn't hit him.
After that, we've got a low blow attempted from Andrade, but it's blocked by Phoenix, who does an eye poke, followed by a throw to the outside and a topic on Hero from Phoenix. Then perhaps the best bit of the match, where we get Jose jumps into the ring with Alexander Montez, and they have a little showdown, a little push back and forth. Followed on from that, because the referee's distracted, we then have a run in from Bush, who comes down to the ring very slowly, I might add, who just walks to the ring. Sort of like Sting. Sort of like Sting coming to rescue for Darby. He just walks to the ring. And yeah, he comes out, he low blows Phoenix. Andrade grabs him again, throws him back in the ring, and hits a hammerlock DDT for the win. And then revealing that he's wearing La Faction Ingobernable with Roosh. So they're sort of reforming that for Mexico days. So
And
that's quite interesting.
you can thank Triple A for not allowing them to bring Naito over to reunite everything properly.
Hmm.
Because New Japan's exclusive partner is CMLL and they won't permit their guys to work with AAA. Even though Andrade hasn't really done much in AAA in ages, he's still technically signed to them, so he can't against New Japan talent.
Fun stuff.
That's why we got this match on Rampage.
Yeah. And then we got Penta coming down for the save after Roosh and Andrade did a little beatdown. Penta came out with his golden shovel in, I'm assuming, memoriam to Cody. I don't know why he got a shovel with him.
As for digging graves,
Oh, Scoro.
Is that his gimmick? They did graves.
he has
With a
the tombstone as
tombstone,
well.
I legit never knew that.
She don't say the entrance because he never gets an entrance.
Following on from that match, I didn't rate it, but I'd probably give it 3 stars. In all honesty, it was a very good standard TV match.
So you did rate it.
Well, no, it's just off the top of my head.
So are rates.
You can't just randomly throw ratings out. You got to think about them. This is outrageous. I'm quitting.
So following on from that, we got Eddie Kingston promo where he just basically shits on Forbidden Doors, like, "Hey, watch Blood and Guts." It's like the Forbidden Door is happening at the weekend, but don't worry about that. I want to fight Jericho. even though I'm fighting Jericho at Forbidden Door, I'm going to fight him again at Blood and Guts.
Yeah.
He has a promo by saying, I can't wait to taste your blood. Which is just, hygiene, come on. And then Jericho does actually aptly make a comment about that, saying, like, do you hear how disgusting that was? He wants to taste my blood. So, nice little touch from Jericho there.
Very
That
much.
follows on. Sorry, go on.
I was just saying, very much so.
This follows on to a Swerve, Strickland, and Keithley promo, where Swerve just goes on to do his Who's House shtick. Says how, like, they're working together on Dark again, and he wants to try and reform the team, and Keith's like, you're not wrong, we can do it, but we need to win more matches. And then Keith's like, yeah, still keep winning. We can get there, but yeah. And then
The mere
Swerve
mention
brings
of the
out,
fact that they have to cut a promo on Rampage, not Dynamite, about how they're wrestling on Dark. Very sad for Keithley, in my opinion.
yeah.
Basking his glory.
Speaking of his glory, we have a reference from Swerve to Ricky Starks' encounters with Keithley, where he goes, indubitably. Swerve to try and copy Keithley's etiquette in speaking.
Indubitably.
Indubitably. But Swerve goes, indubitably.
Good grief.
So following on from that, we have another match, finally. We've got Serena Deeb and Mercedes Martinez, which is assumingly, I've not really kept up with it that much, but it's a team that's been happening for the last few weeks. Against two people who I saw the names only briefly, Lenny Luck and Sierra, who I'm assuming are only been wrestling on Dark or Dark
Yeah.
Innovation.
They keep shoving these 2-minute sports matches into Rampage.
Mhm.
Like, that stuff for Dark, like, they're just perpetuating the notion that Rampage is very much the afterthought.
Yeah, I mean, I think it always was since maybe like the first half year after it started.
That's why I don't review it and we get you to do it, DB. Big
So,
boy rate.
So apparently, Sierra was quite over with the crowd. She had a big Sierra chant at the start of the match. We had basic stuff like double stretch with corner chops from Deeb. Deeb also did an inverted Indian deathlock. Mercedes came in doing a Uranagi on Sierra onto Laney. There was a few bits here and there where they tagged each other in, and it wasn't like a consensual tag. So I think they're sort of building a little bit between the feud between those two, if there is one.
Potential tag.
You know what I mean?
It's just the word consensual tag.
But yeah, this match ends with stereo submission finishers. We have the Brass City Sleeper and the Serenity Lock from both Deeb and Mercedes, both tap out pretty much at the same time.
Rate's favourite thing is synchronised finishes.
Oh, don't worry, that's mentioned in Blood and Guts as well. We'll get there.
But yeah, after the match, Deeb pushes Mercedes because of an incident a bit earlier in the match, and that's about it, really. And they both celebrate the match. And it's like, hey, we did something.
Friends.
Up next, we had not a promo as such, it was more just a segment for Tully Blanchard Enterprises, where he basically says he's got these three guys, Brian Cage, and two other guys I didn't get the names of. I think it was Toa and Khan. I don't know the names.
Ring of Honor guys there, if that is the case.
Yeah, I mean,
carry on. I'm going to
wrote
research
here,
it.
I just put a note here saying probably a Ring of Honor trio when they fully come in.
I think they were called like Soldiers or something, if I remember.
Yeah, that's all I've written down for that. And then after that, we had a promo between Lee Moriarty and Gresham, which was then cut off by Tully Blanchard. Basically, Lee Moriarty just says that he's been winning a lot on Dark, and he thinks that he deserves a shot at the Ring of Honor World title held by Gresham. Gresham doesn't get a chance to say anything when Tully comes in and just says, "You guys don't deserve stuff. My guys deserve stuff. Give them a shot." And Gresham's like, "Well, you know what? I'm a face, so I'm going to say sure. But what we're going to do is I'm going to team with this guy next to me, and fight 2 of your guys, and then we'll see what happens. So that's something for the future, I guess.
I'm excited.
Oh yes. Can't wait to see the 8-minute Rampage match for the title.
Can't wait to hear DP's review because I'm never going to see it.
Following on from this, we had everyone's favorite wrestler, Hook, taking on one of the young lions from LA Dojo, the DKC. This was a very basic squash match, pretty much, where just Hook does the basic stuff with a knee bar, takes control very quickly. DKC does get a few hits here and there, but ultimately leads to nothing as Hook finishes off with a inverted suplex and sets him up for the Kata Hajime or Red Rum, and submits him for that, pretty much, and that was it. After that, I did originally have the main event written down because I assumed it was going to be because we had the Mark Henry interview. But it wasn't. We actually had another short little segment with Gun Club and the Acclaimed. And I don't know what was said. I just wrote Scissor Me Daddy. So
The ass boys.
that's all I wrote. Scissor Me Daddy. But yeah, I unironically, I love these groups. Acclaimed and Gun Club. They just sort of mesh really well, in my opinion. Moving on to the main event, we had Jeff Cobb and Cash Wheeler. So obviously just a little preview for the match of Forbidden Door, which you guys already covered. But yeah, this was a very I can't remember saying this because I like both guys, but this was a very sort of just bog standard singles match. It wasn't really anything special.
Yeah, it's one of those
Yeah.
as well that this has been the one that I feel like Sean is a singles guy, and I don't think this did much to highlight Cash at all.
Mhm.
And we even said like last week about one being a Genetti and stuff. Saying neither are Genetti. I don't think either are Genetti, but for me, Dax is now pulling way ahead of Cash Wheeler.
Mhm. I think they need to do more with Cash as a singles guy as well. In the case of, God forbid one of them gets injured.
Yeah.
It's always good if Cash is injured because Dax has already got his exposure as a singles guy. But I think Cash is a bit more of it, which is why I appreciate this match for what it was, but just surprised me how sort of meh it was. But so we got Caprice Coleman on commentary because Ring of Honor, I guess. This was just a basic small man, big man match where we had Cash working on the lower half of Cash working on the lower half of Jeff, keep him down and try and work on him. Then Cobb uses his strength to come out of it, does power moves. Cash comes back with high flying moves, bit of springboard here and there, all that sort of jumping over the ropes to sort of get to him. At one point in the match, Jericho announces his sports entertainer of the week, and that is Jeff Cobb. So just in case you wanted to know that. He also there's a comment by Taz where he mentions that he liked Jeff Cobb's big meaty thighs. So bit of the old Vinnie Mac there for you. We got a weird looking move. I don't know if Cobb does this normally, but it's called the surfboard, where it's not a surfboard maneuver. It's more just he stands on your back and pretends you're a surfboard.
Yeah, I used to do it on the indies.
Yeah. I've not seen him do it much recently.
After that, we had a strike exchange where Cash relies on again the high flying moves and just like lower leg kicks. We had a part where we had a roll up from Cash after Jeff attempts a Doctor Bomb, which doesn't go well. That follows on with Cash trying to do a pile driver, but it's reversed with a backdrop. And then that's followed by Tour of the Islands for a standard match 3 count for Jeff Cobb. This follows on with a brawl, just generally between everyone, including Jericho and Kingston, who have nothing to do with this match. But they were there because Jericho's on commentary, I guess. And we had a part later on towards the end, and that's just like the last few seconds, where I felt like Caprice was doing his best JR because they had no JR on commentary. where he's like, I can't believe the guys are doing this. And it's
My
just,
God, Michael.
yeah, that was your Rampage.
Yeah. And for those keeping score, that would be 4 televised events from AEW in a row that end in a brawl.
Thumbs up.
For anyone
Storytelling.
listening on the audio podcast, we did the Forbidden Door review as a YouTube exclusive on Tuesday. The link to that will be in the description. We do recommend you check it out there. I will be editing that and put it up as an audio bonus episode at some point over the next week, so keep an eye out for that. Yeah. So in that case, then we'll get moving on to Raw.
And what a Raw it was. So yeah, if you didn't know, John Cena's been around 20 years. So this Raw was dedicated to John Cena and nothing else. Ah, God. Yeah, so it had a weird guard of honour at the start where John Cena was shaking hands and kissing babies and smoking and duckers. Then this was followed by...
Sorry, the only good point about the kind of entrance thing, too, is Ziggler looking like he wanted to burn his hands off after hugging him, and Becky just sitting there upset and ignoring everybody. But he's the only one kind of sticking to character, really, and it was perfect. Becky was brilliant, just looking like sad Charlie Brown. You see her walk past.
Oh, she is the highlight of everything at the moment, Becky Lynch. That's what.
She really is. She's carrying Rogers now.
But this was followed by a match we all wanted to see, which was a battle royale to get into the Money in the Bank. Yeah. Without going into detail, this is pretty much your typical battle royale. Carry on storylines. Mysterio's eliminated Veer. Shanky and Jinder did the dancey grab and they get thrown over. And then Jinder got thrown over after he eliminated Shanky. Miz eliminated Styles.
By T-Bar. A wild T-Bar appeared for this.
And he actually got a few spots in.
Yeah. Quite decent in this battle royal.
And then, Riddle won. Yeah, Riddle. It was an average battle royale, rated 2.5, which is an average battle royale, average match. It is what it is.
I love battle royals, mate. I can't get enough of them. But this whole battle royal just seems so, and correct me if I'm wrong, but this seems so predictable. Yeah. Like, you saw Riddle in there, and I was like, okay, he's gonna win.
But the only other person who could have won that was AJ Styles. That's the only other person. Yeah.
What's the fact that Riddle's the only one with story going into it? Because of the whole not being allowed to challenge Reigns, so he's got that slight story element where he makes the most sense to go it because that's his only route to the title.
But yeah, this was followed by a Street Profits segment with Cena. Blah blah blah. Never give up. That was the whole segment. It went on for 4 minutes.
It was about 4 minutes too long.
But the smoke and stuff. Yes, DP?
No, I was saying preach.
Oh, yeah, okay. I thought you were going to come in with wisdom. This was followed by a few packages. I've not written notes on them, but HBK, Big Show, Booker T, Daniel Bryan, and Trish and Triple H just basically giving their memories of John Cena and what he means to them. Then there was a segment with Riddle, Never Give Up. That was the whole segment again. But John Cena wasn't even involved. We had Jay versus Montez Ford, so we're just switching around these singles matches. It was decent, I'll be honest. It's not like it wasn't a bad match. It was very back and forth. Montez Ford got a near fall strike and some moonsaults. Jay has introduced a pop-up net breaker, which he's been using a few times, which is a very good move to see. There was super kicks followed by a blockbuster from Montez Ford, and then he hit a dive, and then he hit his usual splash to pick up the win. Right at 2 3/4. Just above average for the what was going on.
Yeah, and for those keeping score, and he said on commentary as well that Dawkins' singles win over Jimmy was the first time that the Street Profits have ever pinned the Usos. So with Ted pinning Jay this week, there's no way they win the title this weekend. It'll be Usos retain.
This could be a top block for you guys, really.
No,
This
Rousey's.
whole show is full of top blocks.
It's just Money in
Other
the
than
Bank
Money
in
in the
general.
Bank matches.
Yeah.
Even the men's main event is quite predictable, in my opinion.
What I will
Almost.
say for you, Ray, is remember it's Money in the Bank rules. So your first 5 matches in a row essentially need to be correct.
Yeah.
Then it comes down to points. So if they're putting the women's on first for the winner of that to cash in on Becky later, on Bianca later, then I would be careful with the amount of points you put.
Let's move on. Judgment Day segment with the Mysterios. They're hinting at recruiting Dominic because Ray's a bad pappy. That was that whole segment.
Again.
Yeah, Miz and Logan. So Miz is on about he's going to team up with Logan Paul at SummerSlam. So we're going to forget what actually happened because it was a teaching moment.
And I'll cover this on the news, but he is now officially signed on a proper performers deal with WWE.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll go in depth on that on Tuesday. Miz has got tiny balls. AJ comes down and lays out the Miz. This was followed by Styles versus the Miz. This was probably, if not the best, I think this was on par with my match of the night because it was
Double
just
duty.
a good match.
Double duty instead of the Kevin Owens versus Ezekiel / Elias / Elrod match.
Yeah, because Kevin Owens hates Texas. That's what we're going with. But yeah, this was a good matchup. I rated 3 stars. Miz was in control for a lot of it. It was quite slow paced, but it needed to be, I feel like, for these two. Miz got a DDT near fall. AJ hit a German for a cutoff. He does that move. I don't know the exact name of the move, but it's like a Death Valley driver onto his own knee. You get a brainbuster, and then Miz just walked out.
So you mean Ushigoroshi?
Probably that. Isn't that the one where it's a suplex into a knee? Or is it that one?
It's the fireman's carry, I think, into a knee, yeah.
Well, to be fair, if I just click on AJ Styles right now, it'll probably tell me.
And also the fact that Miz did the bicycle knee.
Yes, he did.
It was flush. It was a good looking bicycle knee. And only got an earfall.
But yeah, the match ended with good old Miz just walking out. Because he don't want none.
And his balls.
He took his tiny balls and walked home.
In fairness to the Miz, he was in the final 2 of the Battle Royal. He already had a long match that night.
Yeah, in fairness to the Miz. And then there was Cena and Zeke part. Never forget. Theory and Cena. Cena avoided the selfie. That was the...
But he lost to Walk with Elias, and he lost to Trod with Elrod. And so I changed my thing in the FPL server to Trods with Elrod.
This was Cena's 20-year anniversary, and this is what's happening, by the way.
Yeah.
Money in the Bank is a Saturday.
And then Angle, Orton, JBL, Y2J, Steph, and Austin did some more spiel for Cena. Bianca came down and waved her hair. She doesn't respect Carmella. But why wait? Let's fight it now. Mella came down. She's the total package. That's her nickname now, so she's inherited that from Lex Luthor. Lex Luger, not Lex Luthor. Mella is money, and then Bianca blasts Mella. Followed by a segment with Liv and Bliss. Bliss has no friends.
I did like this segment because like the 2 of them are like quite good, and they've got good chemistry with each other as well. They can get away with the "I'm gonna beat you" kind of thing. I think Liv is a possible winner, though I can see winning like 4 winners of the women's Money in the Bank.
I think Becky Lynch is going to win it.
I'm not so sure. I think Becky's not going to get near it until the Rumble.
I think she's going to be rock bottom Bex until she wins it Money in the Bank, and then she's going to keep failing to cash it in. And then she's going to get annoyed by that.
Honestly, I could see 4 different winners out of that match.
And all of them are Shotzi Blackheart. But yeah, so Liv and... I don't know where I'm living. Bliss. Bliss basically has no friends because she doesn't trust anyone. Boop. That was that part of the segment. Bliss versus... so we had Bliss versus Liv after this straight away. I ripped Bliss versus Miz here, by the way. So Miz triple duty here. Slightly back and forth for a little bit. Dual clothesline, roll up, end of the match. 3 minutes. Liv picked up the win. I rated that 1 star. I was looking forward to it, and then they just ended it. So Vinnie Mac came out straight after this, introduced Cena, disappeared, and then Cena was out there. This is Cena's big moment, and I've got 1 note here: crowd pandering. That was his whole segment.
I was searching for the right time to say thank you, as if he doesn't say thank you every single time he is out in front of a WWE crowd. Every time.
Yeah, so that was 20 years of Cena. And that was the end of seeing Cena. Then we had Lashley versus the Alpha Academy. Lashley got beat down for a bit. Gable hit like a moonsault for a near fall. Electric chair, I noticed, which was pretty cool. Then he had the hurt lock on Gable to pick up the winner, right? That 2 stars. Beat down on Lashley then, but Lashley smash. Cody segment in 2 notes. It's probably going to be about 9 months until he's back. And then he said something. That was my...
He was basically just running down all the competitors in the Money in the Bank match.
But yeah, so... I don't think he's back. He won't be back for Rumble in that case, would he? That would be WrestleMania if he was actually out for 9 months.
9 years.
Well,
9 years.
They say 9 months so that it looks more impressive when he comes back.
Yeah.
And we'll wait until we see that. Where I'm after this, yeah, so I actually, to be Cena appeared 1 more time, which started with Seth laughing his intro. Just basically them talking. He's going to repeat the feat that he did at Money in the Bank the last time he was in it. And then Cena does the googly eyes because Omos is standing behind Rollins. MPP says some crap, and that was the end of that. And then this was followed by my match of the night, which I was surprised about because I thought it was going to be an absolute mess, but it was actually quite fun, which was the 6-pack challenge with Lynch, Doudrop, Ash, Baszler, Tamina, and Xia. It was elimination, so that added to it a bit as well. They had big parts, which we had like Doudrop and Tamina facing off, which was a big part of that match. Becky Lynch was in control of a lot in it. I think she eliminated 90% of the people in the match. I think she might have not eliminated 1 person. She manhandled Lee to get the pin. Bexplex into the guardrail, Tara Doom splash, and Baszler was out. She hit a scent on the outside to Lynch Doudrop, so she keeps doing that, which is nice to see. She elbowed Tamina out randomly. And then Becky Lynch ended up picking up the win with a Superman handle slam off the top rope, the middle rope to Doudrop. Right, that 3 stars. Like, I didn't write much notes because it's an elimination match and everything is happening. But it was enjoyable.
Yeah, it was good. I enjoyed it.
And good old Bex is going to win the Money in the Bank. Top lock.
The only one that's I don't think has a chance of winning it at all is Shotzi, sadly.
Yeah.
I can see any one of them potentially.
Yeah. But yeah, so that was the end of Raw. 20 years of Cena.
Yep.
Glad to see you go.
So I'm glad I'll be looking forward to 40 years of Cena when we get there. So this was followed by, as I'm saying it like it's the next part of Raw, Blood and Guts.
Oh, you were meant to shout War Games. I mean, Blood and Guts.
Or I'm going to do it Ortiz way. Blood and Guts! Blood and Guts! Blood and Guts War Games! But before we have a look at good old Blood and Guts, we're going to play the game of what did Meltzer rate this crap?
Okay.
So there's 2 this week. There might be 3 actually. I don't know what he rated the last week's the Rampage before. There's not one for Forbidden Door yet. So for Ozzy, he'll be happy that he gets to hear that when we're back next week. So Road Rager, yeah, there was one. Darby Allin versus Bobby Fish.
4-star.
3 3/4.
3.5. So you're both wrong. You're both Meltzer in it right now. Then Road Rager was Dynamite, wasn't you? No, we did Road Rager. There was Dynamite. Yeah, there was Dynamite. The normal Dynamite, wasn't there? Oh yeah, Chaos versus the United Empire.
Was the match again?
Cassidy, Rocky Romero, and Beretta versus the United Empire's Fletcher, Mark Davis, and Osprey. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. 3 3/4.
4.
Damn it.
Tanahashi and Moxley versus Jericho and Lance Archer.
He loves Tanahashi a bits. So I'm going to go
4
4 1/4. Aye.
3 3/4.
Oh.
You love him more, clearly. But let's move on. Yeah.
The opinions that have been pretending to be Meltzer are not those of those. They're just the opinions we assume that Meltzer has.
No, they love
They're
it.
not shared by people on the club.
And EP, if you're not in on the club.
Alright.
It's funny because no one is going to be in on the club. So Blood and Guts followed this. So yeah.
Bastard.
I didn't say anything then. I'm on about the podcast. We're about to explode.
Mm-hmm.
Because, yeah. Guts.
Fine.
Oh, Honor Club's going to get fined. Orange Cassidy versus Ethan Page, the other Page. Let's get a cornet in for him because we were speaking about it before the podcast. So, yeah, this was pretty good. Right at 2 3/4. It was power versus speed. Cassidy kept trying to go for the body slam, even though Page is only like 230 pounds, so it's not like a 300 pounder, but fair enough. Page kept cutting off Cassidy. Lambert kept getting involved. Orange Cassidy hit a stun dog and a spinning DTT for a near fall. He stole the OJ off Lambert, and then
The orange mist.
That got him up. Yeah, the orange mist after that, and then 2 orange punches to pick up the win.
Oh,
yeah,
no.
I said 2 3/4.
It wasn't an orange punch that won it.
Oh, he picked it with the body slam, didn't he?
Slam. He pinned Ethan Page a body slam. I was not a fan of that.
This was completely reminded me of WrestleMania 3. Hulk
Oh, no, it
Hogan,
was
Andre
intentionally.
Giant.
That's why he did the whole like bounce. Is that right? Ethan Page landed the ring, sent him.
Do you not remember
Shot
Hulk Hogan
moves.
being in the ring in denim jeans?
But like the fact that was the genuine finish really annoyed me. I don't know why.
He did take 2 finger punches before, so he's dead weight technically.
I think it does sort of what's the word? Remove that layer of just like, oh, it's a body slam.
But yeah, 2 3/4. This was followed by a Christian Cage segment. So Christian apologised to everyone, which was nice of him. He's sorry that your whole family isn't dead. Okay.
When in doubt, double down.
except his mom. Call me.
I love that hand over the mic.
And then this was followed by Healosaurus. So Luchasaurus is now a heel. And then he had a match against the mighty Serpentico. So yeah, This was just a complete 49-second squash, which Lucha hit a snare. He had him in the snare trap, which was a cool. Obviously, it's Jungle Boy's finish, but he had a nerve hold on at the same time. So,
Daddy Dino is now Daddy Dino Dark.
Yep.
I think this was a much better improvement upon what the
100%.
What the face character is.
Oh, and the new music's an absolute banger.
Mm-hmm.
But I rated that a classic half a star. And then Serpentico, he chokeslammed him through the floor afterwards. Not literally, because I realised this. Just chokeslammed me on the floor. You had a Wardlow versus Sky segment, which I don't care about already, that match. He's treating everyone like security, supposedly. That's the thing they're going with. And he's going to treat everyone like security. And it's going to be a street fight.
I would say that's prejudicial.
Yeah. What's wrong with security guards? They're people too.
I've been a security guard.
I haven't.
Well,
they're below
yeah,
me. No.
you can contact Smart Mark Sterling if you've been affected by anything on Dynamite programming.
I'm not part of the American Association of Security Guards, unfortunately.
Okay, so you're just not helpful here.
I'm not registered.
So this was followed by Caster and the Gun Club, Colton and Austin versus Danhausen, and a pretty maybe good tag team, FTR. FTR was pretty much. FTR. This was just it was fine. It was an average matchup. FTR was in control of it for pretty much of it. Dax got a hot tag. All of the Germans. Aubrey clearly saw Bowens get involved. She looked at him and went, "I better look away now." Then he rolled out the ring and she did the turnaround. "Oh, something's happened." And I was like, oh God.
Yeah, that's what I was alluding to earlier.
Yeah, she literally looked. Eventually there'll just be like a YouTube segment which will be derp. Everything she does wrong.
There is always so often you can blame the participants in the match for mistiming their spots.
Yeah, it's just bad. But yeah, this ended with Bowens clocking one of the ass boys, and Danhausen picking up the win, 2.5 stars.
I made a bet with Frozzy that Danhausen wouldn't get a pin on TV for Clash, and he's got the pin in every match he's been in.
And then to follow this off, the ass boys are exploding. But for some reason, Billy sold him with the Acclaimed, so that's a weird thing.
It's Bones' his boy.
Yeah,
Bones.
Keeps his with him. Why not?
I was actually surprised at Billy Gunn being part of that to begin with, because he likes Danhausen. This is all based on his blogs and stuff. And in the blogs, they're supposedly in character. Billy Gunn loves Danhausen. So, I
gotta love that Danhausen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Billy went in the match, so I guess that's sort of counteracts it.
Then there was a little package with basically setting up Joe versus Lethal at the Ring of Honor pay-per-view, which I think is Death Before Dishonor, if I remember.
Yeah.
So that's something to look. That'll be a good match. Shame we won't see it until we're at Death Before Dishonor. So we had Layla Gray and Jane Cargill. All of the cornetisms because we did that earlier. Jaded, 1 star.
0. Who knew that being 0-4 in the space of over a year in with AEW entitles you to a TBS Championship match? I know it was an open challenge.
Yeah.
It was, yeah.
But 0-4.
Jade Cargill is 34-0, by the way, and I've checked my logins and I've seen her 16 times, so that means more than half of her matches have either been on Rampage or they've been on Dark.
What annoys me as well is every time she has a match, puts her undefeated streak on the line. It's not like she can keep it off the table.
Wait, what? I lost? That don't count.
Yeah.
It wasn't on the line. I'm sorry, I'm still undefeated. In fact, I might start using that.
Yeah, so this started with them beating down Layla and good old... No, they weren't beating down Layla. They were just talking trash, and then Athena and Stat came down, and then Layla actually helped Cargill, but Cargill didn't want her to help, so there's a bit of a weird thing there, whereas Stokely is happy for her to help, but there is a bit of tension. So, yeah, that's happening.
Oh.
But yeah, so this was followed by a Young Bucks segment where they're sad that all their friends are dead. I just wanted to say that because it reminded me of the Turbo Negro song. And they're going to be fighting Bishop on at Rampage. For people that don't know that, that's Goto and Yoshihashi.
Or is the Bucks kept calling him Go-To?
Goto, yeah, go to hell. You see what he did. And then, yeah, this was followed by the main event we've all been waiting for. I say that really sarcastic. I was looking forward to this. So it was the Jazz Society versus the Blackpool Combat Club. For some reason, they classed as Kingston. Of the other two aren't in it for some reason. So why not? So this started with Claudio and good old Guevara at the start. So obviously this was going to lead to a beatdown from Guevara. Dan Garcia was in after that, so that led to a beatdown on Claudio. So it's back and forth beatdowns. Whoever's the...
Did you note down the fact that they came out? It basically is a tribute to Clockwork Orange Druids.
No, they came out to a tribute as Congo from Noah. That's what Congo looked like. I stole that from Muzza, but yeah, they definitely look like Congo.
Might as well had the white eyelash face paint.
Because they're sports entertainers. But yeah, so beating down on Claudio Castagnoli, then Wheeler Lutu is in. He Germans everyone in sight. Hager comes in. You have the spot where it's Claudio and Hager, because obviously we the people, which the fans chanted. Mox came in quite early as well, which was surprised by me. I thought it'd be one of the later ones nearer Kingston. Excalibur said the line of the night. Oh my god, it's a fork. Maybe it's a fork. You confirmed it's a fork. Maybe it's a fork. It
should have been a spork.
So yeah, Claudio, that's past that. And then Garcia was busted from this point. And then look, they're in sync. So, they had to do the crappy elbow sync thing. Parker came in at this point, and he was just trying to run away for the whole 4 minutes, which I found pretty fun, until he got caught into the what's that? Gut wrench, that's it. I was about to call it guillotine, the gut wrench from Cesaro. I'm calling him Cesaro because Double C and Claudio, we all know who he is. There was a crap spot. Did you see where Hager was about to hit Claudio with the chair on the leg? They knew he was going to mess that up so badly, so they quickly panned away as he was setting it up, and you could clearly say he was trying to set it up so he's definitely not going to hit his leg. And then the camera went, as soon as he was about to do it, the camera panned away because they knew it would look terrible. So they've decided to not just roll with things. They've realised actually if this is going to look bad, let's pan away really quickly so it doesn't look like he's just missed him by thin air. Ortiz was in after that. Then Matt Menard came in after that. Then Santana came in with a table because table. Everyone's busted open at this point.
Santana left.
Yeah, Santana left. Had a good time. Here comes the Wizard.
Santana's thing looked really horrible.
I didn't even see it. I'll be honest.
He did he hit I can't remember, he hit a move on someone, and then he went for a Uranagi on someone else. And as he threw him to the ground, his knee and leg sort of buckled in. So his leg didn't move the way it should have. And it's sort of
it's almost like doing these really dangerous TV matches or burning out their talent and causing them to get injured. I'm sure the two things aren't related. What am I talking?
They can't do the Young Bucks does dangerous matches, and look at them. They're always around, except when Nick hurt his foot. So then the Wizard came in. This was followed by Kingston coming in. Kingston started wailing on everyone with a kendo stick, but it was pretty much just like a school teacher hitting you on the head. It's not until one of them decided to stop him, and then he started actually smashing them. Then Kingston pulled out the rubbing alcohol, but he got stopped. And then Taya tried to help. Was trying to get the rubbing alcohol through the cage, and that took like 20 minutes. But for some reason, the camera decided to look at it the whole time. Jericho was spraying the rubbing alcohol on himself at this point, an accident, trying to get it through. Hager went through the table. I found out that Moxley and Wheeler Yuta can't work black bags. Like, right, God. Matt Menard
sometimes,
but it was both of them did, and it was just endless.
You're not sweaty and bloody. You ever tried opening a bin bag where you've got wet hands?
Matt Menard went through the tacks, then Taya glommed one of the refs. Don't think it was Aubrey. It was Royce Rensburg. Then Ruby Soho came down because, you know, she's good friends with Mox and the Blackpool Combat Club. That was specified before everything, and it wasn't just mentioned on commentary just to make sense of Ruby Soho coming down. But yeah, that happened. They made their way around to the top. Sammy went through a table from the top, so he landed on the table from the top, and the table went...
As soon as I saw Jericho climbing... My notes were, well, you clearly didn't learn anything from last time.
Yeah. But he didn't get to go through it. Sammy did this time, but the table literally went poof. You could poof when he landed, and it was like the most safe bump I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah. It does look a bit, dare I say, a bit cheap.
Yeah, it's because it was clearly something like there was two tables in the band, but there was clearly padding or something. Which it's fair enough, but if you're gonna not like it look real, don't do it.
Yeah, anytime you see the table, but it's got a tablecloth over it.
Yeah,
you know there's padding under it.
I mean, Luchasaurus did a very similar bump in tables on Road Rager.
Yeah, but it's Luchasaurus. They don't give a crap about Luchasaurus. You know, or Sammy Guevara, poof. But yeah, it's one of these ones. I don't want them to hurt themselves, but if you don't do it, if you're not gonna do it properly, like padding, it's like the whole Chris Jericho. Where you didn't have the podcast at this point. When Chris Jericho, he got really annoyed that people were taking the mick, but he landed and it was like leather, and you could see it was like the steel was literally padding.
Yeah, there was bits of cardboard sticking in it.
And then everyone ripped into Shotzi Blackheart because she did that gif of someone just landing on a bed. Yeah, if you're not going to do it, don't do it. If you're not going to do it properly, don't do it. That's my... and then it ended with Cesaro getting Matt into a sharpshooter, and then Kingston had Jericho in the plum stretch. He was trying to submit him, but then Matt Menard submitted. And then this just gutted Kingston. Unbelievably gutted him that he couldn't make Jericho submit.
So let me explain why this is possibly the best finish to a wrestling match this year. Anyone who watched it in passing, wasn't really paying attention, or doesn't follow that closely and just tuned into Blood and Guts thinking it'll be great, they saw that finish and went, for backstory, first of all, Kingston has been desperate to get proper revenge on Jericho for months. To the point he's been slowly going insane over it. Mad King, of course. So this was his chance to really get his revenge on him, and it'd be nothing sweeter than having Chris Jericho tap out to his own move. And then Claudio comes in, someone who's got a long history of having no trust in, backstage issues at indie shows and all the rest of it. Genuinely hates the guy, or at least that's what's put out in the dirt sheets behind the scenes stuff. And he's the one that usurps his moment. Everyone's all like heavily celebrating, and Kingston just looks dejected. I can see us getting like mad heel, like stops at nothing, just completely insane Eddie Kingston now.
Which I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, so.
My only hope is that AEW don't wait once to get us there.
Oh no, they will. It'll either be hot-shotted too quickly, it'll be done too late. There won't be like a middle ground. And if they do it, I'm happy. If they do it properly, I'm not like but from what happens, they have a tendency to not do things in the correct motion. But yes, that was the end of Blood and Guts. I rated the main event 4.5. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, for me, War Games wise, this was up there with the Undisputed Era against Sanity one from NXT about 2-3 years ago.
Yeah.
That up until this one, that was my favourite modern War Games match.
War Games.
War Games.
Blood and Guts.
Blood and Guts! Blood and Guts! Blood and Guts! That's the last time I'm going to do it for you.
And just to clear something up from the Tuesday episode, I stand by all the points I made. I could have made them a little bit better regarding the individuals concerned. However, I will say, JR finished off by saying, Claudio Castagnoli, a main event level talent, quote unquote.
Honestly, get JR commentary.
I do appreciate they only brought him out for one match. I hope that's him slowly moving towards retirement now. And as soon as Kevin Kelly's contract with New Japan's up.
I'm also happy they binned off Tony Schiavone for most of the commentary as well, and Taz was on there. That's sort of Taz and Excalibur. That's all you need. Or like someone and like the three of them, just not like Tony and JR. JR's good for good big matches. Tony's there just to shout stuff and going, even though he's hating, going, I love it here! Oh, it's Tank! That's Tony Schiavone. I'm having a great time! Tony, we're off air. I'm having a great time!
Tony, stop now, you're fair.
Tony! It's Tony! No, it's Sting, Tony. What?
Tony, cut the shit.
Oh, the monetized. No, we don't get monetized. Please donate. Anyway, we probably should end this now.
Please don't go looking for a donate button. We don't have one.
My PayPal's in the description.
Yeah.
Again, there are no links to provide anyone with the show money. Though my mother watches that show and she can always send me money if she wants.
Okay, and if anyone wants to DM my Twitter, I'll give you my PayPal link.
And I will not beg. Thumbs up for me.
No, thank you very much for joining us, everyone. As always, our links are in the description to our Twitter bios, our Twitter, which is at honor_club. That is honor with a U because we are British. And Honor Club is fine. You're fine.
Yeah, we're fine, yeah. Really fine. It's going well.
And our Discord link is also in the description. We are very slowly growing, but we're always looking for new members. If the link isn't working, please reach out to one of us on Twitter and we can reshare it and I'll fix it. But as far as I'm aware, the link is working. Set that no time limit. But yeah, we will be back on Saturday for Great Sparkle Saturday.
Yeah. To give you a hint, my camera's busted, so it's not my picture on that either. Having a good time.
We should be able to share your full screen now.
Yeah.
And the review for this weekend is to be determined. So we'll have more info on that for you in due course. And then we're back again for Tuesday to do our news. So that's everything for me. Have you got anything you'd like to share with our lovely viewers tonight before we bid them adieu?
No. And there was just silence. For some reason, I'm so used to being the second person speaking that there was just nothingness.
Oh, bless. We will have Frozzy back soon. He is on assignment, but a wild Frozzy will return, don't you people worry.
Yeah, it's probably for the best.
Too long.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't want to get in too comfortable.
So, thanks everyone for watching. Take care and we'll see you next time.
Peace.
Bye.